In this video, we are completely emptying the kitchen out because we are starting our kitchen renovation finally. About a year ago, we started a handful of things like replacing windows and doors, but now we are going to have demo people coming. We were alerted 2 days before they were going to arrive, and that's why we had to jump into cleaning this out the day after we found out. So it was all hands on deck to completely empty this kitchen, get rid of what we no longer needed, and find places throughout the house to put all of this stuff while we're renovating.
As I'm taking things out of the kitchen, I thought this would be a perfect time to get rid of things that I know I'm not going to use or don't think I'm going to use. This one is new to me, came with a plant, so I'm going to let this go. I'm not really into the black, so I'm going to let this go. And then what else? This one could probably go. I don't love that. So yeah, these three are going, and I'm keeping all of the vintage stuff that I love and the stuff that I think I might use. I'm not set on this, but I don't want to get rid of it yet just in case I want to use it. Once the kitchen's all done, I can reevaluate. I think I'm going to get rid of this one too. And as we were taking stuff out, I realized that this broke off and this was not really working. This is a waffle iron. It wasn't working that great the last time we used it. So we're going to let this go too.
So I'm going to move the drawer boxes into the living room. I'm going to stack them behind the couch because we need to have this floor space open.
We are sharing this full renovation process over on our other channel. It is called Wood Glue, and I will have a link at the top of this description box if you would like to go over there and check that out and subscribe. I would love to have you. But you can see here that Grant has already finished the pantry. That is completely done. So my idea as I was emptying everything out is to store all of these things that we're not going to need for a while since we won't have a kitchen. We're going to store them here in this finished pantry because we won't be working in this area. It's already done. And we have a full video on how he made this pantry. So again, that will all be linked down below. But today we are trying to find any nook and cranny where we can store all of these things. And there will be so many things that we will not need for the next month to 2 months while this project's going, like all these spices, because we really won't be cooking elaborate meals and we won't be baking because we won't have an oven. So there will be so many items that we won't need until the kitchen is back up and running. So I'm just storing this in little places around the house.
It's incredible the amount of stuff that's in each cupboard. It's just funny. We use it all, but it's pretty funny. It's like a clown car. So is that one heavy if you can carry it with 2 hands? Is there more space still?
Yeah,
okay. You can't carry that one?
No.
Have Emmett come do it then.
I might have Emmett come do it. So when is this expired?
Put this over here. That's expired too.
This is expired?
Yeah. It's gonna all go in the trash. Get a new trash bag out, please.
This was also a great opportunity to throw out any expired food that was at the back of the pantry. Now we're redecorating our living room. I'm joking, but we're moving everything around, and we used these super sliders to move all the furniture. They help so much to keep our floors from being scratched up, and we've been using them for years. I will link them down below in case you need to move stuff around your house. It makes it so easy. I actually keep the kids' bunk beds permanently on some of those super sliders so we can slide the bunk beds out, get the toys that have fallen out, behind there, and clean up behind the bed. But we're taking out some of the things that just won't fit into this living room because we're going to be putting the dining room table in here. So many things had to be shoved into any room they could fit into. We ended up moving that rug into our bedroom for the short time that we're doing this project. And then as you can see here, the dining room table is now going to be in the living room. It's just finding a spot for anything, anywhere we can. There was really no rhyme or reason to any of it. And of course, I was feeling a little stressed at this point because we were under such a time crunch to get everything moved. But it's okay. We had everyone working together, and we worked from pretty early this morning all the way until night, moving stuff and getting everything ready. So we decided to use these IKEA cabinets that we've had in our kitchen for the last few years as our makeshift kitchen. So we're not getting rid of these yet. And Grant had built this little extra table on the side here. So we are just moving this out. We're not going to need this anymore. So that's just going into the backyard. And we might be able to reuse this, possibly this part right here that you're seeing with Levi in my closet for shoes. I'm not sure. I told him just keep it for now. We might be able to reuse it. And again, here's the furniture sliders. So these really did help so much. But we're making our makeshift kitchen here. And this is where we will be, having to cook things and make food for the next month. I'm just not sure how that's going to work out, but we're doing our best to try to figure this out. One thing I was thinking about the whole time I was moving this stuff around was what are the bare necessities I'm going to need for the next month or so to be able to make some food here, and what is going to be the best way to set this up. So we also used this extra IKEA cabinet that, we used to have this set up in a totally different way in the kitchen, but we just stuck this here for the time being. Maybe half a year we've had this sticking out here, which really got in the way. This was one of the reasons why I decided not to have a peninsula in the new kitchen, because this stuck out right into the middle of the kitchen and we really didn't like the way the kitchen flowed with this in the way. But it was helpful while Grant was working on the pantry side of the kitchen. And we ended up using this around the corner in the living room. So nothing is set up in a way that obviously I would ever set up a kitchen to have cooking and stuff in the living room, but here we are. Luckily, we do have a sink in our garage that I can use for washing dishes. So there's a little bit more room out there where I can put everything into a deep sink. It doesn't have a garbage disposal, so we have to be careful with, what goes down the drain, but that's okay. It's kind of like camping. We're just washing our dishes in the garage, but I'm super thankful that we have that. And it was funny, as I was emptying everything out of the kitchen and my mom was emptying all these cups, I said, man, this is like moving. And she pointed out that usually the kitchen has the most stuff in it. And usually the kitchen is what is the most work when you're moving, because you have to make sure things aren't going to break. So it really did feel like we were moving. We had to wrap things to make sure that they aren't going to get damaged. And then some of this stuff would not fit into the pantry. We filled the pantry completely with everything that we weren't going to use. And then we put everything else into boxes. And then I have that stacked around me here as I'm editing this video in my office. So if someone were to come over to our house, they would be like, what is happening here? It looks super crazy, but I keep reminding myself that this is only for a really short time and it will all be worth it very soon. After hours of clearing out, I kept opening cabinets and I would find more things that needed to be cleaned out.
Oh my God, we still have all this stuff in here.
I'm just happy everyone was excited to clear the kitchen out. So the kids jumped in and my mom was over here. So we were all working together and it was kind of like a fun project. So everyone was really excited about it and it was a very positive experience.
When we first moved in here, this pocket door, we randomly shut one day and realized that everyone who's ever lived here put their heights on this door, including family, friends, and everything else from back into the 60s.
Yeah, the 60s.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
And so we started adding our heights and names to the door as well.
Here's Calvin. What
Here's
Calvin was
Calvin.
Calvin when we first moved in? Look, let's look at you when we first moved in. Here's Levi. Calvin 2019. That's when you first moved in.
Look how little you were.
Look at you now. Stand there and I'll do you. I'll measure you. Ready? Okay.
Let's see.
This was the last time you've grown this much.
You've
An
grown.
inch.
Grow. Stand it real straight. Here we go. Put your head like.
There's one person right there.
I want you to measure Emmett. I want you to measure Emmett again because I might have tipped it.
Okay, and then go right here.
You're
Right where you were.
Now we
how we're doing this project is Grant made all the cupboards and door fronts, drawers, all of that. He'll be doing all the finish carpentry and all the painting. But we did hire a company to do the demo, the big demo anyway, the carting off of everything, the electrical and the plumbing, because we want to have a professional doing all that. That is not something that Grant knows a ton about. He can do little things, but not, full on, renovations with plumbing and electrical. And he's doing a little bit of demo just so we will be ahead of the game when they get here. And then we thought it would be fun to do a little bit of the demo as well in the kitchen. So all of the easy things we're pulling out, like the empty drawers, and we're taking off some of the doors. The kids were excited to help with that. And then Grant's taping up the plastic so we don't have a ton of dust in our house as this is going on. And spoiler alert, we still have a lot of dust in our house, so there will be a lot of cleaning that needs to happen along the way. But we're just setting up here so we can start a little bit of the demo ourselves. We'd love to do the whole thing ourselves, but it's also just way easier to have a company do this and cart it off.
Little update. We got up early and had breakfast, relaxing morning, and then we started emptying everything out of this kitchen. It's now probably 3 o'clock, maybe 3:30, and Grant is busy ripping down the other side of that wall so we can enlarge it right now to get the fridge through there, so then we can set up our little kitchen area for the next month or something. So I'm a little bit worn out with all this, but I'm excited.
I decided to take this shelf down because every time we walked in the door, it is exactly the height of your face and you can't really see it when you're quickly walking in. So it was a hazard. I was afraid someone was going to hit their head into that. We used to have the cupboard under there, so that stopped people from walking there. So all these little things that we could take down ourselves, we decided to do. And again, we made this huge pile. The kids were super excited to help with everything. The pile was quite big. And so I'm thinking that when the carpenters got here and they were going to start the demo, they probably thought, hey, they've already done half of it for us, which Grant joked would be really funny because most people don't do this, but we were just so excited to get started on everything. We jumped right in. One thing that I thought would happen is I was thinking I was going to miss the kitchen or feel sad about getting rid of this. But I have to say in the last, 6 years we've lived here, the kitchen has deteriorated a lot in those years. The tile was growing mold between it because the grout had all come out. And even though we had refilled the grout several times, it still just came out because I'm not sure, maybe it had to be done right the first time. And it's just also really, really old. A lot of the tiles were broken, and then more tiles had broken through the years that we were here. I mean, you can't have a kitchen from 1958 and think that it's still going to be holding up, all the way till where we are now, when this video is being recorded, 2025, almost 2026. So yeah, a kitchen, just nothing lasts that long. And I'm shocked that it's actually held up as well as it has. And I thought I would be sad, but I'm really not sad. We're just excited. And here's Grant joking. Haha, very funny. Whenever the camera's on, he becomes more of a clown. But now he's ripped off this wall so we can get the pocket door out of here. We thought we would keep the pocket door, but we realized there was really nowhere to put it. We took a lot of pictures of it and video of the pocket door for sentimental reasons, and then we decided to get rid of it. There was just literally nowhere to put it. And then he was able to open up this wall. And even with this opened up just a little bit, it looked so different in here, so much better.
The first day of semi-demo is done, and we will have tonight and tomorrow night still being able to use the kitchen. But the third day, we have the actual, for sure, demo construction company coming to help us completely rip everything out, cart it away, and get started on everything electrical, plumbing. It's all going to be happening. So day one is down, and we're excited to see what the next day is going to bring.
As I'm cooking this meal, I'm just thinking about how are we going to eat for the next 2 months? It's really going to be a challenge.
Removing the fridge
Again.
again.
This has been edited in a way to make it look like it was really easy. We didn't care about the floor in the kitchen because that's going to all be ripped out. So we just dragged it along. And then we thought, okay, it should roll because it does have wheels. But then we realized that we were pushing it from the wrong angle and it was just ripping everything up. So we did damage the floor, but that's okay because it's going to be fixed in the future.
I'm going to give you a little tour of what we will be using as our makeshift kitchen for the next probably month or so. These are the IKEA cupboards that we had under the window over there. We've just moved the fridge right here. So this is where we will be doing all of our kitchen semi-cooking. I don't really know how we're gonna make it, but we will see what we can do. Also moved the table here and scattered what was the little living space here into different areas of the house. Put a chair over here, moved the couch against the wall, added a chair in there. So it's very crowded in there, but I keep telling myself this is only for a very short time and we gotta make do with what we have and move things where we can for now. We're gonna be working in there, and then the other cabinet went in here. So essentially all I have in these cabinets are the plates and forks and things that we need for everyday eating. Also the food that we are going to be, that's easy to make and easy to make here. I've put away everything else. So we're not going to be doing any gourmet meals or baking or any of that kind of stuff for a while. We're going to be relying a lot on my mom's help to be able to go up to her house and cook some stuff. And she said we can go up at any time and make food, do whatever we need to do. Hopefully we will be able to still do a lot of stuff here. We also have this electric plug-in cooker so we can still cook some stuff. And then between this, the microwave, and I'm probably going to get an electric burner just for now. And then we can always use that for camping or, you know, something else in the meantime. Then we will also be using our sink that we have in the garage. So I'm gonna put a table there and that's where we will have to wash dishes and, you know, that's just what we're gonna have to do for now. Luckily we have a sink out there, but there's nowhere to put anything. So I will be setting that up today.
This is the way everything is set up right now. You can see where we've shoved everything. We will have all of these project videos over on our other channel, Wood Guru. We are going to be sharing the whole process over there on the kitchen renovation. So I would love to have you if you want to subscribe. It will be linked in the description box. I also have a weekly newsletter that you can join for free, also in the description box. I will be adding some videos here all about this process and kind of day in the life, sharing how it's going and how we're making it through. Homemaking during a renovation should be very interesting. So make sure you subscribe if you are into that type of video. And I do have a recent video that I put out on all of the renovations we've done on our home so far. I will link that right here on the screen if you would like to continue watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.